Thiruchitrambalam, Hara Hara Namah Parvati, Patage, Hara Hara Mahadeva, Sitsabesa, Sivasitambaram, Tenarude Sivane, Putri, Inatavarkum Reva, Putri, Thiruchitrambalam, எதற்கும் மாக்கதை இந்த தமிழ்ச்செய்யுளாய் நடக்கும் மேன்மை நமக்கருள் செய்திட தடக்கை ஐந்துடை தாழ் செவி நீழ்முடி கடக்களிற்றை கருத்துள் இருத்துவாம் உலகலாமனந்தோதற்கரியவன் நிலவுலாவிய நிர்மலி வேணியன் அலகில் சோதியன் அம்பலத்து ஆடுவான் மலர் சிலம்படி வாழ்த்தி வணங்குவான் சைவத்தின் மேற்சமயம் மேரிலை அதில் சார் சிவமாம் தெய்வத்தின் மேற் தெய்வம் இல்லனும் நான் மறைச் செம்பருள் வாய்மை வைத்த சீர் திருத்தேவாரமும் திருவாசகமும் உய்வை தரச் செய்த நால்வர் புற்றாள் எம்முயிர் துணையே. தில்லை வாழந்தனரை முதலாக சீர்படைத்த தொல்லையதாம் திருத்தொண்ட தொகையடியார் பதம் போற்றி ஒல்லையவர் புராணகதை உலகறிய விரித்து உரைத்த செல்வமலி குன்றத்தூர் செக்குழார் அடி போற்றி. ஆதாரமாகிய மாணிக்க வாசகர் பாதார விந்தம் மணிவோம் பண்டு செய்த தீதான பாவங்கள் எல்லாம் தீர்ந்து ஞானோதயம் வந்து கூட்டிடுமே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். Dear devotees, welcome back to the Periyapuranam Discourse series. Today, by the grace of the Almighty Lord Shiva, we are here to think through the second part of Kalaimalinda Sirnambi Empiran Kannappa nayanar Puranam. So during the last class, we discussed up to the point where Kannappa nayanar took over the charge of hunting groups in Uduppur. So he was announced as the king, the leader of all hunter groups in Uduppur. And then his father ordered him to plan for the hunting even as soon as possible. So Nagana, as Nagana became old, he made him a king. He made Thinanar as a king, and then everyone was happy. And he also asked to ask the priestess, the priestess in the hunting group, village priestess Devarati, to perform pujas to the gods in the forest, and she did that. And she mentioned, Tinnan, the son of Nagan, will outshine his father. That was her comment. And then now Tinnanar became the king of the forest, and now he's going to do his first ever hunting as the king of hunter groups. In Periyapuranam, Devachekla Swamigal admired the structure of Kannappa nayanar from head to bottom, foot. It's called Kesadipadam. How he looked like, how the fellow hunters decorated him, and how he looked like as a king of hunters. Devachekla Swamigal followed the same approach, but the other way around, foot to head, in another nayanar Puranam, Anaya nayanar Puranam. And there's a similarity between these two Puranams. Why Devachekla Swamigal made some 5-6 verses just to explain how greatly he looked. I say he did the same thing for Anaya Puranam as well. And the reason he dedicated some specific phrases to explain the glory of his structure, because both nayanar attained mukti in the same form. That's why Devachekla Swamigal took the time to explain the greatness of their structure, both for because Anaya nayanar also went to Kailash with the same structure, the same way. Kannappa nayanar, he's going to attain the lotus feet of Lord Shiva with the same structure, because he's going for hunting, he would never come back. So it's important to explain and admire how greatly he looks. And I'm gonna go ahead and try to explain those specific phrases in Periyapuranam. So Nayanar Devachekla Swamigal says this. நெறிகொண்ட குஞ்சி சுருள் துஞ்சி நிமிர்ந்து பொங்க முறிகொண்ட கண்ணிக்கிடை மொய்யொலி பீலி சேர்த்து வெறிகொண்ட முல்லை பிணை மீது குறிஞ்சி வச்சி செறிகொண்ட வண்டின் புலம் சீர்கொளப் பின்பு செய்து, which means Nayanar had naturally curled hair because the hunter family, they don't apply oil, they don't take care of it very well. So it naturally became a curled hair. It was tied up in resplendent manner, looked really, really attractive. And he wore a garland of leaves and green leaves and nice flowers. And between those flowers in the garland, they have inserted a beautiful feather of peacock. And below that garland, and there was another garland made by mulai flowers. Mulai flowers, and on top of the mulai flowers, they added kurinji and vechi flowers as well, and they wrapped it in a wreath. And as he has got a lot of fragrant flowers with honey, a swarm of beetles were flying around those flowers to sweep them for honey. Just explain how he looked like. So he started from head, and then he goes on explaining his face. முன்னெற்றியின் மீது முறிந்திடை வைத்த குன்றி தண்ணீர் புரிகொண்ட மயிர் கயிறார சாத்தி மின்னில் திகழ் சங்கு விளங்கு வெண்தோடு காதில் மன்னிப்புடை நின்றன மாமதி போல வைக, which means on the forefront head, under the peacock feather, a beautiful strand of hair with small beads interspersed to make the forehead shine. It's like what we call nettichutti in Tamil. And then also he had white rings on both of his ears made of conch, and both of them shining like two full moons were on behind the ears. Like he had got two moons as his earrings. The next song he says, கண்டத்திடை வெண் கவடி கதிர்மாலை சேர கொண்டக்கொடு பன்மணி கோத்திடை ஏன கொடு துண்ட பிறை போல்வன தூங்கிட வேங்கை வந்தோல் தண்டை செயல் பொங்கிய சன்ன வீரம் தயங்க. So here he says at the neck, he was wearing a matching garland of mostly white and multicolored beads, along with conch beads as well, a variety of other beads, with the horns of wild boar. He said, "Pandri kombu," horns of wild boar, suspended between them as crescent pieces, like a crescent moon, and all of them mounted on a tiger skin. All of them got mounted on a tiger skin, and it's called Sannaviram. Sannaviram represents a sign of victory. So kings usually wear that when they go on a war. Hunting is also a kind of war, but at this time it's a war with animals. And then in the next song he says, மார்பில் சிறு தந்த மணித்திரள் மாலை தாழ தாரி பொலி தோல் வளையங்கள் தழைத்து நின்ன சேர்வில் பொலி கங்கண மீது திகழ்ந்த முன்கை கார்வில் செறி நாணெறி கை செறி கட்டி கட்டி. Now, so he'll explain the hair, face, neck. Now he comes down to chest. So on his chest, he wore a pearl studded necklace made of elephant tusk. And on his shoulder, he kept the rings with garlands. And in his right hand, he had a bow, the bow that he's going to be using forever, and held the string of the bow that's going to shower arrows like a heavy rain. And he also had a glove in his hands. It's called bow hand glove. Now also you can see those who study archery, the sport, you can see them wearing hand gloves. Then he goes down further to hip. அறையில் சரணத்துறை ஆடையின் மீது பௌவத் தரையில் படு வெள்ளழகார்த்து விளிம்பு சேர்த்தி நிறையில் பொலி நீளுடை தோல் சுரிகை புறஞ்சூல் விரையுற்று வருவார் விசி போக்கி அமைத்து வீக்கி. So his hip was clothed in a robe of peacock feather, and that was stabbed on a tiger skin, and over it a long rope fringed with pearls like sea water bubbles, and a spiral sword inserted in a bright red scabbard. Scabbard is where they keep the knife and sword. Then for now he goes down to his feet, because I remember I said it's Kesadi Padam. He started from head and it goes down until foot. So now he says, Veera Kadal Kalin Vilanga Anindu Padam Seratudani Siruppu Viruppu Vaipa Paraperivil Valangundu Paninda Tinnan Sara Tirthal Madi Techi Viyantu Thangi. So he was wearing leather sandals on his feet, and then he came around the bow, paid his respect to the bow, then took it in his hand, admired its beauty, and he was holding it. So this is what we call Kesadi Padam. He explained the beautiness of Nayanar from starting from head to foot, and Devachekla Swamigal did the same thing for Anayana Puranam in the other way around. Padadi case, and he started from foot and then he ended on head. This is something we need to be aware. So now Nayanar took the bow on his hand. He's going to make a big sound out of the string. So Devachekla Swamigal explains to remove the obstacles in his way and also to remove the evil from this world. He pulled the string of the bow and made a big sound out of that. See, it was like the sound of a big rain that startles everyone, everywhere, to remove fears and any angry animals from there. So Nayanar took the bow on his hand, and now the next step is they're going to have to start the hunting. So all team lined up, the whole troop fully armed with sword, drums and everything. They usually make that noise to scare the animals. They are ready to start off the hunt, and the whole troop was led by the leader, Tinanar. Tinanar went for hunting, and all hunters hunted with the ferocity, and Nayanar hunted just like a ferocity of a striped tiger. The hunters usually they make a blare of mixed sound with their instrument to scare the animals, and then they would come out from the hiding places. When they come out, the moment they come out, immediately the hunters will hunt them mercilessly. There are many verses in Periyapuranam. The Czechoslovak explains how they were killing elephants, lions, buffaloes, deers, etc. When you get a chance to go through all those songs, but we're not going to go through all of them. We're going to get to the main turning point. So they pretty much hunted most of the animals, and because this monthly hunting never took place for some time, that's why the animals started coming close to the village. So all of a sudden, there was a massive sound came out of the net that the hunters placed. A big wild boar just jumped out of the net the hunters placed, managed to escape from that, and ran away very fast. None of the hunters could chase that wild boar. It's a massive wild boar. The sound that it made, elephants even got scared of the sound and ran away. Then you can imagine how big that boar was, how ferocious that boar was. And then started running very fast, and no one could chase the boar. Seeing this, the leader, Tinanar or Nayanmar, Kannappa nayanar, he started chasing the boar. He started chasing the boar, and then seeing Nayanar going after the boar, one of his favorite pet dog, a hunting dog, also started following Nayanar. And then there were two more hunters named Nanan Kar, bodyguards of Nayanar, very close associates of Nayanar. And they also started running after Nayanar. So the boar was running, followed by Nayanar and dog and his pet dog, and also the two hunters. It ran forever, several kilometers. That's the blessings of Kalastishvara. The wild boar was running towards the great hill of Kalahasti. From Udupur to Kalahasti, it's around some 60, 70 kilometers. It was running. It was taking 9 hours. Nalve, we call that good karma. The good karma that he has done in his past life as Arjuna came in the form of boar and taking him to the hill of Kalahasti. So it ran forever, and then at one point in time, the boar stopped. Stopped because it ran for several kilometers. Nayanar was hiding behind, and the Nayanar didn't want to kill that boar using his bow and arrow. He wanted to face, because since it scared the hell out of even elephant and other animals, he wanted to face the boar, fight with that, and kill it. Then he took the knife and jumped right in front of the boar, and then immediately he stabbed the boar to death. Then the boar finally gave its life, and it died. Then the two hunters became very happy. Oh my God, our king, the leader, who could do this? And they admired his courage and power. And now, since it's almost in the afternoon, and the trio had become very hungry and thirsty, and Kannappa nayanar was asking, "Is there a place where we can have some drink, water?" And then Nanan said, "If we go after this hill, there's a very nice river called Ponmugali. You'll have very cold water. Let's go there and drink some water." So they decided to cook and eat the boar and in the bank of river. They started walking towards the river, holding the dead boar as well. They reached Ponmugali, and then they decided to drink some water. At that time, this Kanayana saw the mountain, the top mountain where the Lord of Kalahasti is there, Kalahastishwar. The moment he looked at the mountain, he felt a strange excitement, and then it started increasing as he neared the mountain. A strange new energy surged up, and a feeling of devotion also surged up in him. Then, then he was asking, Nana, Nana, we're seeing this mountain. I am starting to have some new energy, and I'm feeling, I'm having some good feel of devotion. And then Nana says, King, the mountain that you see is Kalahasti, and on top of the mountain we have Kudimitevar, the Swami's name. Kudimitevar on top means Kudi means top, and Devar means Lord, the Lord that lives on the top. We could go and worship him. That's then Kannappa nayanar said, that's great. Then he ordered Kada, and you be here and cook the wild boar and keep it ready. We will go and worship Guru Miteva and come back. I said, that's fine, great, I'll do that. And then Kannappa nayanar came here to drink water. He forgot to drink water because the moment he saw the mountain of Kalahasti, he forgot everything. He forgot everything, just the mountain. Um, So there appeared a brilliant illumination on the top of mountain. And then as he was walking towards Kalhasti top, the sound of Devatundubi's five Devatundubi resembling the loud waves of sea was heard by Nayanar. He was asking, Nana, are you hearing the sound? I'm hearing some sound. That's the sound of Devatundubis. Devatundubi is used by Devas to worship Lord Kalastishvara. Nana said, no, it's some beetles making some sound, maybe. And then they started walking towards the temple, and because they could hear only the buzzing sounds of bees, not really the Devadundabis. And now Tinanar wished to go to the top of the mountain to worship Kudubi. They entered and David Chikla Swami was even explaining as he kept on climbing the hills, Nayanar was going through the path of 36 tattvas. The body is made of 36 tattvas, like earth, water, and so on. Manam, Buddhi, Angara, 36. Body is made of 36 tattvas, and Nayana was getting rid of the tattvas one by one as he was climbing the mountain. The moment he saw Kalasthishvara, Kudumiteva, he ran, rushed, and he hugged the Lord, and he started crying like a baby, just like a baby. And then Nanan was shocked. I was shocked at what happened here. Dinana had become a new person all of a sudden. This intense love for Kalagaseeswar. Dinana, the intense love of Kalagaseeswar immediately increased at the very first sight. He embraced Kudumittevar. He became intoxicated like a bee which was feasted on honey. His word, Nayanar's word, became slurred. He felt extremely peaceful. Joy surged in his heart, and his heart melted with all these mixed feelings. No one could understand that, including those who were next to Nan and who were next to him. Then he was talking to himself. And Kannappa nayanar, Kudumittevar, uh, Kudumittevar was all alone by himself in this deep forest, infested with wild animals. There is no one to protect him, or even to give him a company who's giving them food. Thinking in this manner, Nayanar dropped his bow and arrow, and then hugging Kudumittevar, just like a mom hugging her baby with compassion for the loneliness of his baby, of her baby. So you think the God is alone? Oh my God. Then he saw there were some green leaves and flowers on top over the Kudumittevar, and also he had some food for the Kudumittevar. He saw that, and then he wanted to know more about it. Then he asked Nana, what is this? Then Nana explained, King, I remember I came to this temple with your father once upon a time, and there was a Brahmin priest. He was saying something to the Lord to have him eat this, and then he was doing some type of archana with these leaves and flowers. And then, the Kannappa nayanar realized, that's what Kudumittevar likes. He likes those flowers, leaves, and he likes the food. Okay, I'm gonna do that for you. And now Tinnanar wanted to worship Kudumittevar in a similar fashion with what he knows. He had no idea whether the Lord likes vegetarian or non-vegetarian. He had no idea, but he just wanted to worship. It's pure love. Then he parted from that. Then he decided to go out and bring some food for the Lord, flowers for the Lord of Kalhasti. He was going out of the temple, turned around, and then came back to Lord of Kalhasti, and started hugging him. He couldn't leave. He couldn't leave him alone. They were Chikla Swamigal comparing the situation as if a mother cow, how a mother cow never parts from her calf. You would have seen how a mother cow is so attached to a calf, right? You can't separate them. It will cry. Someone is keeping a calf, the mother cow will always be with the calf. It won't even leave that place. David Czechoslovakia usually compares mother cow with Lord Shiva and calf as his devotees. But here it's the other way around. David Swamigal made Kannappa nayanar as mother cow and made Kalahastishwaras as calf because Nayanar was taking good care of Swami and he had that level of love, just like a mom would have on her baby. She was crying. He didn't want to leave. But in the meantime, he didn't want to see the Lord starving for food. So then he told the Lord, I'm going to be very fast. I'm going to go and get some good food for you. I'll be back as early as possible. Then half-heartedly, Nayanar went back to Punmugali River, where Carden collected the tastiest bit of cooked pork meat. And then he was like, oh, it took so long. I thought you would be back in a few minutes, but it's several hours gone by. It's already in the evening. And then Carden said, and then Nanan said to Carden, Kada, Tinnanar gave up our kingdom. He became a mad of Kudubithevar. He became a mad devotee of Kudubithevar. I don't think he would even hear what you're saying. I think though in Tinanar could not see anything other than Kalasthishwar or things that are not related to Kalasthishwar. He cannot see anything. He went ahead, he picked up the good portion of the meat, and then he was frying them on fire a bit. Then he was tasting them to make sure that he collects the most tastiest part of the meat for the Lord. Tasting them, and then he split the rest. Oh, the Karan was like, oh, I was very hungry. You're splitting the meat. And then he kept them all in a leaf, kept the nice part, kept the nice part of the meat, tastier part of the meat in a leaf, and also added honey on top of it. And then he plucked some flowers and kept this on his hair because there's no way he can hold it. Kept it on his hair. And then they both were thinking, what happened to our king? He said, the Nanan said that when he saw the Lord Kudumiteva, he became his devotee, an ardent devotee. I don't think he would come back to Udaipur. He gave up our kingdom. We need to go back and tell Nanan and Devarati Abhiyan, come along with them to take him back to Udaipur. You and I cannot do it. That Kannappa didn't even listen to what they were talking. He took the meat, he plucked the flowers, and then he went to Ponmugali because he needs to give bath to the Lord. He sucked water in his mouth as much as he could, mouthful of water. And then he started climbing the mountain. Imagine, I know some of you would have climbed the mountain, like Thiruchitrambalam temple, Erembur temple, and several temples where the Lord is on top of the mountain, and Ayarmalai, Vatpurki. We could not even climb the mountain, without any luggages. Imagine Nayanar could not open his mouth full of water. He needs to have a heavy breath. We will be breathing using our nose and also our mouth, especially when we climb. I've done trekking to Panchaketar, and I was breathing like anything when we were climbing the mountains. So here he cannot use his mouth full of water, having a mouth full of water, and holding food on the other hand, holding bow on the other hand, and he has got flowers all over his head, and that should not slip as well. And carefully he needs to walk and climb the hill. That's the level of love Kannappa now had. So we will, okay, having said that, let's close the class for today. We will continue how Empiran Kannappa nayanar worshipped the Lord Kalasiswarar in the next class. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம் என்ற பின்பம் பெரும் இயல்பினா ஒன்று காலத்து உள்ளம் எங்கிடம் அன்றுளார் அடியார் அவர் வான்புகள் நின்றது எங்கும் நிலவே உலகலாம் நிலத்தில் திகழ் திருக்காலத்தியார் திருநெற்றி மேல் நலத்தில் பொலிதிர் கண்ணில் குருதி கண்டு உள்ளடங்கி வலத்தில் கடுங்கணையால் தன் மலர்க்கண் இடந்து அப்பினான் குலத்திற்கிராதனம் கண்ணப்பனாம் என்று கூறுவதே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். ஹரஹர நம பார்வதி பதையே ஹரஹர மகாதேவா. சித்சபேசா சிதம்பரம். தென்னாருடைய சிவனே போற்றி, என் நாட்டவர்க்கும் நிறைவா போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.